Okay, we're on the way to make a repair on a really old Trane gas pack. I mean, this thing is probably pushing 30 years old. Normally we wouldn't work on something like that, but now and then you get in a situation, you know, and somebody's just not quite prepared for the fatal problem they run into. Not sure how long they had the house, or not sure if they realized how old the unit is, but either way, there's a freon leak that's actually easily repairable. It's just the we call them capillary tubes, you know, come off the distributor, and several little 1/4 inch lines, or whatever size they are, that run to the different places on the coil, and a couple of them have rubbed together, and so there's a leak there. So we're going to try to just weld that up and pull a vacuum on it and weigh in the charge and see if it'll go back to working like it was. It's one of the old Tranes with the old bulletproof climate tough compressor, you know, the old Rotolocks, and it you know, is probably very inefficient, but just make this quick repair for them and see if it'll get them by while they can save up to get a new gas pack. So this guy's a plumber, and him being a, you know, a contractor in the field, he may be around and he may be watching, so I'm not sure how much of a helicopter customer we're going to have, so I'm going to try to film it, at least film the braze and the repair and the final result of it up and running. So we're on the way out there. Let's see what we can do. All right, so we got here, the customer had it open and apart for us. Here's the model and the serial, and of course the exterior label is completely shot, so we're not going to get a date off of it, but it's probably in the neighborhood of 30 years old, I'd say. And he has already located the two that rubbed, and there's the one that's leaking, and it had actually rubbed this one here too, which he says was not leaking, but we're going to put some braze over both of those, and I'm going to try to do this carefully and see if we can hope it doesn't open up and block these off. But let's get the torch out here and just see what happens. I don't think we got much to lose here. Alright, so we're going to braze this up. I'm going to use the B tank and keep it down a little bit low and try to see if we can successfully stop this leak here, and we'll take some nitrogen and test it.
Shouldn't talk anymore, it's on the video.
I don't care, I can edit it. So Put some nitrogen in here. All right, I got a little over 200 pounds in here. So let's see what we got. These smell like orange, you know, and I like them, but I ain't never seen them get that purple color.
Yeah, it's Hercules Chemical, which they make a lot of our fluxes, plumber's putty and stuff.
I'm seeing if I could still feel the dents. I'm just hoping it didn't
go in.
I'm hoping it didn't block the tubes, but
when it blocks a tube, you would lose part of your coil.
Right, and this is the evaporator, so it could be pretty important, and it could affect the pressures, and we'll see all that. We'll see evidence of what's going on when we get it charged back up and running. We'll see. Hopefully we'll see nothing.
Right, that's what I'm hoping for.
All right. It may have equalized a hair, but we're still just a hair above 210 on that side and just a hair below 225 here. I think we're okay, so let's weigh it in and get it back up and running and see if we've lost any. Alright, so we're going to use the Hillmore 9 CFM, and we just turned it on, so it'll be pretty quick, and microns ought to light up any minute now. We'll go ahead and use the digital gauge to charge it with and everything, but we're just going to weigh it in, and it said 4 pounds and 0 ounces, so that's odd. But back in the old days, I guess things were a little different, and so nonetheless, we're going to let this thing run long enough to hopefully get way down low and see what we got. And granted, a package unit is very quick to evacuate in comparison to a split with a 30 or 50 foot line set, whatever, but it's been running about 3 to 4 minutes. I'm getting down under 1500. So let's walk away for a few minutes and we'll come back to it. All right.
A good bit of.
Took us about 10-12 minutes to get down to close to 600. There's the 5s. I'm going to see if we can get all the way down to 5 even, maybe below it. And we're going to weigh it in and see what happens. There's 534, 533, 32, 31. She's getting pretty stable. So let's start setting up our scale. We're down to 520. So we're going to accept that. and set up our scale here and weigh in 4 pounds. Alright, we got 29 pounds and 14 ounces, 14.25. So we're going to try to get this as close to 25 pounds and 14 ounces as we can. So I'm going to start letting liquid into the high side first and see where we get. A little under a pound shy. I'm going to let that settle a minute. I try to brace this thing where the yellow hose lays against the edge of the machine and doesn't really get jerked and wobbled much. Okay, that is real close to our target, which is 25 pounds and 14 ounces even. So what I will probably do at this point is crank it up, flip the jug, and just clear the liquid from the hose and start watching my pressures and temperatures from there. But that is real close to a factory charge right there. So let's see how it acts. Alright, I told the customer to go ahead and turn it on. There's our standing or equalized pressures. There she comes. We got about 50 pounds of suction, about 200 head pressure. So, and it is 80 degrees out here. So we'll go look at the charts here. We're going to let this thing run about 5-10 minutes before we get too excited, but it looks like we have a slight amount of extra head pressure, and something you don't see every day. The old round Honeywell with the vision assistance. There's the pointer. And you can see we'll run it up, and that's 60. Run it up there, that's 65. Off cool heat. So for the vision impaired, that is a best friend thermostat right there. So Just thought that was worth taking a look at. Don't see them very often. Alright, it's been running a bit, and we have 209 head pressure and 52.5 suction, and I do believe I'm going to leave it alone. According to that suction, I would normally add a tad and have that on about 55 to 57 in the 80-degree weather. But according to that head pressure, it is maxed out for 80-degree weather. So I think we're going to leave this with the 4 pounds of factory charge that it suggested. I would clean this coil if I thought it would do anything other than a few stumbles on it. I just don't think it's going to do anything to it. So, you know what they say, it's hard to stop a train.